Yeah, time to let my inner Arnold out. Arnold impersonation audition. Come on, Timmy, do it. Come with me if you want to leave. Get to the chopper. Get down. What? Can't you hear I am impersonating? I am in character now. I can't get down. I can't stop it. What you want? Speak to me. Speak to me, woman. Where are you? Is it you? What is this? Wow. He came. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It came finally. You, I want it. Okay. Small problem. You in. You get out. You need to get out. Get out now. Yeah. So it finally arrived. Yes, the TI. I've been talking about it in the Nerf videos. I'm just a week early, but yes. It's time to upgrade the 980 to a 1080 Ti. Yeah, now there's a Founders Edition. But this is just an interim one until I do the full system upgrade in April next year. So this one will go into a small little place that will... Well, you'll see more of that in a different video. But for this, I need to first take that out and replace it with this. But we want to see it, so get the knife. Get the knife. Cutty. Oops. Get out of my way, mouse. Cut it. See, nice little box. Boxy. It's quite stiff. Oh. And there she is. In plastic. Documentation, all that stuff. Let's see. Yeah, this additional display port to DVI cable. Oh, that is awesome. If only I didn't have already got anything like this already, but yes. Fuck it. Yeah, I'll figure this one later. So, let's see. Beyond that, is the display card. Ooh. Good lord. It's difficult to do things with one hand. It's out! I see it's a plastic only. Shroud. Clear. Nice. No DVI port. Yeah, at least I've got a... Hey, I've got a backplate. 6 plus 8. 8 by 8. Thankfully, I ordered 6 plus 2 cables when I ordered my cables for this type of thing in the near future. Smart planning. Oh well. Let's get to building. And the final installation, new TI in the case with a GPU stand to prevent sagging. Awesome, hey? I just like it. Looks good. Hi there all, welcome to another episode of Nerf, and this time it's the upgrade episode. Basically, I've decided to go for Maxwell, my 980, to a 1080 Ti Final Solution card, Pascal. So, this is basically the switch over video, indicating upgrade in performance based on two different architectures and models, and also basically preparing for the next series, which would be Nerf and Pascal, which will all be in 1440p. But as you can see, the new card is in, and the performance is quite interesting. Since I won't be using this mainly for 1080p stuff anymore, I have an issue using adapters to drive these DVI input monitors, which means I don't have my 1440 Hz anymore, which means yes, I will eventually have to upgrade in a short term, but yes, monitors will be upgraded with the main upgrade of the system. But I digress. Is there a significant increase in performance from going from 980 to a 1080 Ti? Well, let's have a look at the benchmarks. No, I will basically be jumping in between 1080 and 1440 benches, but let's start off with 3Mark Firestrike, which is 1080. We're comparing stock for stock between a 980 and the 1080 Ti. We're looking at roughly an 94% increase in performance, which is bloody good in my books. Then when you move on to the OC to OC performance upgrade, it's about 102%. Not bad at all. But then we move on to Firestrike Extreme, which is a 1440p benchmark. When we compare the stock for stock increase, here we see a 107% increase in performance. That's significant for a higher resolution. Overclock to overclock is 115% average. That's massive. So Firestrike Extreme shows a great increase in Pascal's performance over the Maxwell. Coming on to TimeSpy 1080p. Now if we compare the stock to stock non-async performance, we see an 89% increase with Pascal. Adding async into the mix adds 105%. So there is some performance gain using async. Adding OC to the mix, non-async performance goes up 96%, while async performance jumps 114%. That's tremendous. Going back to where TimeSpy is supposed to be run at, which is 1440p, if we compare the stock for stock non-async performance increase, there's a 93% increase, while async on performance increases 108%. Adding an overclock into that, you see 103 non-async improvement and 119% improvement using async. Maxwell suffers. It's well known, Maxwell does suffer when async is on, but Pascal just freaking soars, which is weird. Whoever said Pascal doesn't have async support is ridiculously stupid. Anyway, I'm moving on. Looking at Heaven. Heaven shows in 1080p during stock comparison 103% increase going to 1080 Ti. Using an overclock that jumps to 111% increase, which is good. Now if we go to 1440p, The stock to stock adds a 62% increase. A little bit better, a little bit others wise because we're using a higher resolution, so there's more to do. But adding OC to the mix adds another 5% on top of that, which is 67%, which is good. I can go with that. Valley. Now Valley, if we go to 1080p, this is where we found one of those examples where the 1080 Ti struggles, hits some sort of an internal bottleneck when it comes to 1080p. This card is definitely not designed for 1080p, but anyway, I'll let you guys see what the result is. Using stock to stock comparison, we have a 59% increase in performance. Adding an OC sees this drop to 45%. So overclocking and running at 1080p is a waste on Titan. Oh well, on the 1080 Ti, which is weird. But now when we move to a 1440p and we compare the increases from stock to stock, it's a 63% increase, which is better than 1080p. And adding an overclock just adds 2%. So yeah, that is not a perfect scaling model, I would say, but yeah, you can see there's at least an increase with an overclock. Not the same massive increase, but it's an increase. Going to superposition. Now superposition. OpenGL does seem to run much better on Pascal compared to Maxwell. But again, this is DX11's it's its strong point. So when we compare the 1080p increase from stock to stock is 114% increase. Not bad. Adding an overclock adds another 10% on top of that. 124% increase in performance. Average. That's good. Now, going to 4K. I decided to do a 4K instead of, because there's no 1440p preset in superposition. The 4K optimized. If we compare stock to stock, we're having a 106% increase. Excuse the dog. 106% increase in performance. Now, adding an overclock on top of that adds another 11%, 117% increase in performance. So, yes, it's well worth the performance here. Going to Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon. If we compare the 1080p performance stock to stock, we get a 71% increase in performance. But adding an overclock again causes this 1080p weirdness in the 1080 Ti, where we only see a 62% increase using an OC to OC comparison. Again, 1080p is not a good thing for TIs. But change that to 1440p, and stock to stock, the performance increase is 78%, much better. So you can definitely see TI is definitely made for 1440p and 4K. It's not made for 1080p. If you do 1080p on a TI, it's a waste. But yes, adding an overclock on top of that makes it 81% increase in performance. Ridiculous. But yes, very well worth it. Now, Sniper Elite is one of those difficult benchmarks I've had lots of issues with trying to get it stable. I've added a couple of different techniques into it to try and get as much different data points as possible and try and average across them. So, based on that, if we go for a 1080p comparison, stock to stock, 33% increase. Adding overclock just adds a 1% increase, average. As you can see, DX11 and DX12 and DX12 async, for some reason, just is weird in that game. It's not working 100%. I won't say it's too optimized, but yeah, it's okay. It's still better than the Maxwell, but it's definitely not as good as its DX11 performance. Now, converting this to a 1440p game, the performance increase from stock to stock jumps to 87%. 87%. But adding an overclock, suddenly we see a 58% increase. And that game is definitely not doing well. If we look at the, like, if I can compare your DX11 on stock is strong, while an overclock, you're getting the DX12 with async to be the same as DX11 in stock. Something doesn't add up quite so well. But yeah, it's still overall a bloody good increase across based on Maxwell. Deus Ex Mankind Divided. Now, 1080p. This used to be if you're looking at stock to stock, it's an increase of roughly 66%. And overclock to overclock, we see that weird thing with TIs happening on 1080p. Performance increase drops slightly, and you're looking at a 53% average increase. Where it seems, I don't know, it's just that thing, TIs are not made for 1080p. If we do this on 1440p, on the other hand, stock to stock increases by 89%. That's massive. And adding an overclock adds another 5%, 94% increase in performance, where you can literally see DX12 performance on stock being better than the DX12 performance in overclock slightly, but it's roughly in the same neighborhood, so it's within margin of error of each other. That's give or take. And now, for the pied de resistance, Doom. Now, if we go to 1080p, now 1080p at 39% for stock to stock increase in gaming performance, and with the overclock, it goes slightly down on 36%. Now, this is mainly OpenGL based performance comparison. If we do this on Vulkan just freaking hard locks at 200 full. It's the frame cap on Doom in Vulkan. We're getting frame cap the whole time with TI on 1080p. So it's just a massive increase over Maxwell, and definitely performs better than OpenGL. On 1440p, if we compare the stock to stock increase, we're looking at an 88%, while Vulkan just jumps roughly 75%. Well, okay, the overclock jumps 75%. But compare Vulkan to OpenGL, and you're looking at a massive increase in frames per second. Vulkan is definitely much stronger on Pascal than OpenGL. So, yes. So overall, if I look at the performance that I've seen, increasing from Maxwell to Pascal, we're looking at roughly, I would say, a 95% increase average in performance, just from a single 980 to a 1080 Ti. That's more than double, or almost double performance increase on average. So really, Pascal is much better suited for gaming today than the 980. Yes, the drivers do show the 980 is not being nerfed, but it is outdated. It is definitely showing its age. I would say, yeah, cool, you can still game on the Maxwell, but if you had the choice to go up, and you have to go, Pascal is not a problem. There's no issues with Pascal. Pascal's actually bloody good. given this is now the first from this episode on, well, basically from this video, I will be testing 1440p performance going forward with each driver version. So look forward to seeing more benchmarks coming your way on Pascal, and see if we get some performance nerfing when Volta comes live. We'll see. If you like this video, give me a like, give me a dislike, and give me some feedback if you really want to. Consider subscribing, and if you want to support me, provide better content, consider becoming a patron. Link will be here somewhere. I will link my methodologies for testing in the description below, so if you want to try and reproduce it on your side and see how you compare, you can feel free to do that, especially for you, Yoken B. I know you asked for it, so I'm going to add it for you. Just keep an eye on the description section. Yeah, for everybody else, thank you for watching, and hope to see you soon. Goodbye.